What are your views and takes on climate change and how it's affecting the mountain?
Climate change, honestly, I don't really know.
What are your views and takes on climate change and how it's affecting mountain?
Well, you know, there's a lot of scientists studying this. I don't think most people even know how much CO2 is in the atmosphere. Trees need CO2. There's more trees in the United States now than there were when we first came here because we're handling forest fires a lot better.
The growing threat of climate change could define the contours of this century more dramatically than any other. And what should give us hope that this is a turning point, that this is the moment we finally determined we would save our planet, is the fact that our nations share a sense of urgency about this challenge and a growing realization that it is within our power to do something about it.
What do you do here at Franklin High School, Ms. Whisnand?
So I get to teach, and I teach AP Environmental Science, Marine Science, and a Climate Justice class. Well, the main causes of climate change, burning of fossil fuels, which, transportation has a big part of that. And transportation, like the majority of transportation, uses, fossil fuel, like gasoline, diesel. And that is where a lot of, emissions are produced. So, kind of the move to more electric cars. Transportation does have a big role in greenhouse gas emissions, and not even just vehicles, but airplanes, have a ton of emissions. Even big ships, big cargo ships, and rail systems.
How does climate change affect the mountain's environment, and how do you think that will progress in the next few years?
You can kind of look at it sort of seasonally. Some seasons, right now, I think there's actually a ton of snow, which is really good, and that helps in the summertime too, just to reduce, drought. So, snowpack is really important, and sort of keeping those, that glacier, keeping that mass of that glacier there. So that's really important. And then also just the, another little side concept, and the idea of more snow creates more the reflectiveness of the snow also is really important, because then it's not really absorbing all of that heat and energy. And the less snow and the more sort of dark sort of rock or earth or ground that's exposed, the more that absorbs that heat and energy from the sun, which warms it up even more. So you get this sort of positive feedback loop, that the more, the less snow, the warmer it gets, the less snow, and it kind of just sort of keeps up with that. And then also, if you do get less snow, and in the summer, it's more susceptible to wildfires or just drought. It's they're just not even really having that much time to recover from wildfires. And another thing too about the mountain is it becomes also more susceptible to some invasive species, or there's these Japanese bark beetles. Biodiversity is really sort of key to that. And one of the things that maybe people don't really realize about our forests here, that we all really love, but our forests are kind of monoculture, and there's really just a handful of, we Doug firs do really good, cedars, but the reality is it really could have a lot of, the more species, the better, really. And the more just the more diversity of plants, the more diversity of insects, the more biodiverse you can really have an ecosystem, the more resilient it is. So I think just really protecting these areas is key, and just really allowing them to be really diverse. And I'm also a big proponent of supporting these natural areas, and because really our best way to kind of reverse some of those effects of climate change is to support those natural systems.
How could someone reduce their carbon footprint?
I think just really also looking at the food that you eat is kind of one of those things, try to reduce sort of meat consumption. And maybe this sounds kind of weird, but to talk about it more, and talk about what our own actions, the effects they have, and just make other people sort of aware, and just not make it just make it kind of part of our everyday, sort of the way we do things. things and not even make it like a huge deal. I think just kind of like keep going with it and try not to be like sucked into like this sort of doom and gloom mentality, and just try and stay positive and try and just like believe that your actions really do make a difference. But but not saying too that there's not hope for these things. Like there is still like so much good that can be done.